What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation, coming at you from the Salt Lake City terminal. I was able to get on top of this load I have right quick, so have a chance to sit out here for almost 24 hours before I deliver tomorrow morning. And today just isn't the right day. I know they're struggling out here with this cafeteria situation, but pretty soon they're going to need to import some flies to make the starvation appear more realistic out here. I'm too lazy to want to drop this trailer and drive down to Maverick, so I'll just be eating out of what I have here. But been reading through the comments. Sorry if I haven't had a chance to reply to all the comments yet, but I did want to answer a few of those questions in the comments in a new segment called Ask a Rookie. So anyway, let's get to it. Now, one of the questions was, can you do a video explaining freight lanes? Now, I can really only speak on what I know on this topic, which would be prime related. But in general, if you were just to take trucking in general, each load, like if you were to take loads from Denver and they were going to, like Nashville, Tennessee, or any loads coming out of Denver going to Nashville, Tennessee, are going to average a certain amount per load. I mean, the load is going to kind of vary a little bit, but that is kind of an average of what all the loads going into an area typically paying. And on a broker side, so let's say smaller companies or people that use spot market and things like that, a lot of times their freight is going to be based on an average. A broker may say that the average of this freight going from here to here is paying this much. That's really not how freight at prime goes. So freight at prime is going to be a little bit more consistent. Sometimes it's going to pay more than what the spot market would pay, and sometimes it's going to pay less. Typically, if our rates or if our loads or our clients are contracted clients, basically you kind of get paid what the contract says. So in a down market, you're going to be making more than the average. In an up market, you're going to be making less than the average. So that kind of is a little bit of it. In terms of freight lanes with prime, one thing I can say is that there's certain areas that if you're going into that area, that the loads coming out of that area are not going to pay all that well. So you have some states that are going to be like manufacturing states, and then you have some other states that are going to be consumer states. So freight going into consumer areas are going to pay well going in, and they're going to pay bad going out. Florida would be a perfect example of that. So one example of freight lanes would be, now there's other stuff that comes out of Florida, but you automatically know once you go down there. Now they do have some high paying loads coming out of there, but typically what I'm going to assume I'm going to get coming out of Florida is going to be a low paying Tropicana load coming out of there. One more thing I want to talk about freight lanes, because it's really not about the money. I mean, like I'd mentioned, some places pay more, some places pay less, but what you start understanding once you've been out here, and like I said, I can only speak on prime, is once you get a load going to a certain city, you almost can guess what your next load is going to be coming out of there within a certain level of reliability. So I'm not really sure if that answers the question or not, but I really don't get too into the money and stuff like that. Like I said, there are just certain places I like to go to and certain places I don't like to go to. And for another example, Sparks, Nevada, Reno, Nevada. I do not like going to those places because I already know what's going to happen after that. First of all, it may pay good going in, but there really isn't much coming out. And every time I've gone over there, I've ended up having to deadhead all the way into California. And depending on the time of the year, that is not something that I really want to be messing with. So, for example, I won't take that lane. I won't take anything going out that way. But that's one of the few places. I mean, I stand more firmly on that than New Jersey. Let's see. Why? Okay, so why do you like to stay east of Cheyenne? That is a good question. So, first, let's just break it into summer and winter. You know, in the summer, I may dabble a little bit out on the West Coast. If I'm in training, I obviously will be out past Cheyenne and things like that. But I really don't like going west of Cheyenne in the winter. Not because I'm afraid to drive in the snow or anything like that. This is not a big dick swinging contest. You know what I'm saying? So going across I-80 in the winter, to me, is like a crash test dummy situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, your chances of it being clear, you know, somewhat reasonable, possibly, but your chances of getting stuck out there for 2-3 days is a high probability as well. So, the couple times I've dabbled in going west of Cheyenne last year, I almost got caught. You know, I took a load leaving Denver, dropping off in Montana or something like that somewhere. Then I got a load out of Montana going to basically Seattle. And I saw a storm coming. I told my fleet manager to get me out of there. I got out of there with like 10 hours to spare. And the people that were behind me ended up getting stuck for minimum 24 hours. So to me, it just doesn't make sense. Plus, going into California, I mean, think about it like this. You might be able to skip through I-80 and make it on your way to where you're going, but you always got to come back. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you can, you know, take I-40 or sometimes even I-90 is better than 80. I mean, you can reroute around that, but I'd rather not even put myself in the situation to mess with it. So, just don't like it. What's the hardest thing about getting into trucking? Personally, you know, obviously you have the time away from home, family, all that. The hardest thing about getting into trucking, another one would be my last student, boy. He was a beast. Well, actually, both of my drivers were beasts, but my last one specifically, you know, he was like a 16-year-old boy. All he needed was a hole. I just can't shit like that. I gotta be in the comfort and convenience of a, you know, confined space. So I'll burn the shower credit, all that kind of stuff to do that. But my life revolving around when I'm gonna take a crap is probably one of the hardest things about getting into trucking. So other than that, it's a pretty smooth and easy transition. Well, another thing, a hard thing about getting into trucking was just learning how to drive the truck. So if you've gone back and watched any of my old videos, I almost quit over driving through West Virginia and Pennsylvania. I was just like, I mean, for that one moment or for that one drive shift, I was honestly thinking that I wasn't going to be able to continue driving through stuff like that. You know, so it was hard to build my confidence up in, well, I almost got psyched out. Okay, so here's what it was. The driving was, like, that's one of the worst areas to drive in the whole country. West Virginia into Pennsylvania, all that. So whenever I thought about Pennsylvania, I always refer back to that area of Pennsylvania, when in reality, I just got hit with that right off the bat, so I was a little gun shy whenever somebody mentioned Pennsylvania or West Virginia. But you know, once you get out here driving a while, it's all easy. Anyway, another question is, how many trucks are you thinking about getting? You know, I've been thinking about that, and I actually thought about this a lot the last couple days. My intentions is not to really, you know, as people say, I don't want to be a fleet owner, and if it happens, it's going to sneak up on me by mistake. But I'm almost to the point where, you know what, I'm probably just going to have 2 trucks, maybe maximum of 3. But what I'm planning on doing them is rotating them out, almost like Prime. So my driver is going to be driving for me. If she's still with me when the lease is up, she'll be in this truck. If she's with me when this truck is when the lease is up, I'll let her order a truck the way she wants to have that truck ordered. In the meantime, she'll keep driving this for the next 4, 5, 6 months. And then once the other truck comes in, then this truck would just get sold. And then that's the way I plan on doing it. If I sneak up above 3 trucks, it's going to be because it's going to be almost like an accident or a situation that came up that I just couldn't pass on. As far as the trucking goes, I mean, people are looking for all different kind of things with the drivers that they're going to put in their trucks. I'm a little bit more picky, and I'm paying probably a lot more. I still haven't seen anybody paying the kind of package that I was thinking about doing, but I'm looking for a bit more experience. Not just somebody coming in right off of TNT. I'm looking for about a year minimum. You know, somebody's happy being with Prime as a company driver that wants, you know, more money, flexibility, all that kind of stuff. So finding those drivers might be even hard. So I'm fine with just this one right now. We'll see if I grow it from there, but that's not my intention. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Been trying to come back here and take a nap and haven't had a chance to do that. I see the trucker dude Brent is here with his co-driver. And actually, I met her when she was just going through when she first got to Prime. Actually, she'd watch my videos, and I'm sorry if I forgot your name off the top of my head, but I do apologize for that. I think a couple other people are up here. I know Callie is up here with her with her co-driver, and I heard Crespo's up here. Anyway, I don't know how many of those people I'm be seeing, because I will be trying to get my nap on here in a little bit. But hope you guys are doing well. I'm gonna deliver this load at 0800 tomorrow. It looks like a real shit show at this receiver, and then I got to drive 550 more miles to the next destination for a 0600 appointment tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but the day after. So anyway, that's how things are lining up. I did tell my fleet manager, get me out of here. So, or, you know, get me out of Missoula, Montana. Get me back into that Midwest region. Now I am just rambling. Boy, I am good at rambling. But anyway, I do appreciate you guys stopping by. No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Have looked at all the comments. I will get to answering those. I'm not sure if I answered that freight rate question or freight lanes question with enough detail, but it's the best I could do on that one right now. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.